resource like fresh water in the desert. The solution is supposed to be an innovative technology that looks like this. A sphere formed by a glass and steel dome rising 25 meters into the air, which covers a cauldron of roughly the same size. The so-called solar dome was developed by the UK-based company Solar Water in association with Cranfield University. The theory behind it is actually quite simple. Seawater is piped through a glass-enclosed aqueduct system, which heats the water with sunlight as it travels into the dome. An array of parabolic mirrors concentrates the solar radiation onto the dome. This superheats the seawater in the cauldron, where it evaporates. As a result, highly pressurized steam is released and condenses as fresh water, which is then piped to reservoirs and irrigation channels. The solar dome is meant to produce 30,000 cubic meters per hour at an extremely low cost of 34 cents per cubic meter. All of it 100% carbon neutral. But there's still the issue of the hypersaline brine. Supposedly, the desalination process in NEOM reduces the total amount of brine created during water extraction, helping to prevent damage caused to marine life by not discharging any brine into the sea. Yet so far, the question of what really happens to the concentrated brine is still unanswered. Solar Water alleges that it can be extracted and sold commercially. The brine contains substances that can be put to good use in other industrial processes. It still remains to be seen whether this actually works, and whether the plan to create a commercially viable extraction of resources for other industries will succeed. The first solar dome is currently under construction, to be trialed on an industrial scale. NEOM's solar desalination project will serve as a test case for other water-scarce countries that are struggling to generate environmentally safe and sustainable sources of fresh water. Solar Water's vision is bold: carbon-neutral agriculture and reforestation in the middle of the desert. It's hard to predict.
Did you hear that? So if they can get this water in these desert or very arid regions over the globe, and they can start building more rainforests by there being water and growing trees and more oxygen levels, that's going to counterbalance a lot of the carbon dioxide that is over the globe being produced. And Saudi Arabia is right now using fossil fuels in order to fuel these desalinization plants. But you just see right here that this idea by the UK about using a solar run, basically biodome, to filter out the water, the seawater, at a very low cost. That's highly impressive. Let me continue.
How much of this vision will turn out to be true? NEOM will certainly put it to the test, with the first solar dome desalination plant planned for completion in 2021. Desalination, despite all its issues, isn't going anywhere. As it gets cheaper and water scarcity becomes ever more threatening, the industry will continue to grow, and countries in the Middle East will rely on it totally. It's up to all of us to handle the valuable resource of fresh water in a saving and sustainable manner, and to science and innovation to find the most ecological and least harmful way to provide it.
Water is the most essential resource for life on Earth. We all depend on it, yet many of us, we don't really think about it. This was in fact the second episode of our series about water scarcity issues around the world, many of them are to come. And it is the time that I'd like to ask you, what about you? Where do you live? Do you know where the water comes from that you use? So let me know in the comments below.
Oops.
Please do consider subscribing. This helps us.
Yeah, I'm gonna subscribe. But anyways, so there's a way to get these desalinization plants up and running. They actually have that prototype, that dome prototype, that is a solar dome that runs on basically nothing. There's no fossil fuels needed, and there's no fossil fuels used. And you saw how many gallons of fresh water that the solar panels or the solar dome is heating up the water and distilling it and putting it into reservoirs. It can be done. Why aren't we doing these type of things? And in a way that doesn't harm the ocean, by not putting the brine back into the ocean, they're creating lithium batteries that can run, you know, a numerous amount of different things. You could probably run several different prototype cars off of these lithium batteries. Like, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing this? The brine that's created off of this, or the byproduct of desalinization, can be a power form for people running cars, homes. Like, why can't we be doing this? Why aren't we doing this?